This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we join Nissan in the Cape to Cairo Daring Africa Challenge with the Nissan Navara pickup. And finally, we fly down south to South Africa to review the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, now powered by a powerful V6 turbo diesel engine. We check out its styling, performance, practicality, and of course, evaluate it against the likes of the Toyota Hilux GR Sport and the Volkswagen Amarok. Catch this and much more on your Cars with Big Boy Trev this Sunday at 5 p.m. only on NTV. Welcome to Cars with Big Boy Trev Extra. My name is Big Boy Trev. It's all about the news and reviews from across the world. Our first news item comes from Nissan as a Daring Africa 2024, Nissan's overland adventure across 8 countries with 4 Nissan Navara pickups and an XL SUV has completed the Kenyan leg, the expedition's penultimate stop before transitioning to Egypt. Now let's listen in to Nissan South Africa and Africa Managing Director for more details.
I will be very honest, it's our key project for this year. Very important. Daring Africa, it's a big project which we started this year in March, and we would like to show our best performing car, Nissan Navara, which is behind us, to the maximum number of potential customers and going through all the countries which are on the way from South Africa to Cairo. So AAAM it's an organization which we fully support, and of course we are a part of that. It's very important for us. All the discussions with the governments which can join the car policy for the whole continent will be a benefit, not only for the OEMs, but mainly for the customers. More and more customers could enjoy our brand, our Navara, if we can get a proper implementation of the policies. So we are working on it hardly. We are putting a lot of efforts to make sure that we can speed it up the process of implementation. And it's very successful in some countries already. So we count that on one day, the whole Africa will be ready for one car policy.
The journey, which began in Roslyn, South Africa, has taken the team to Maputo in Mozambique before heading up to the coast and turning inland to get into Zimbabwe via the country's renowned Eastern Highlands. After stopping Harare, the expedition went to Zambia, around the Kariba Dam, headed east towards Lake Malawi through Luangwa Valley. From Malawi, the Daring Africa experience traversed the northern part of Tanzania before entering Kenya. Now, Tim Jacks, the CEO of Motors Africa, met with the media in Kenya and joined them on the off-road experience in the hills outside Nairobi, and here is what he had to say.
So yes, Motors Africa is the shareholder of Crown Motors. I think Crown Motors, also known as Nissan Kenya, is very proud of this product. I think the idea is to make sure that we're exposing the great products that we have to our customers. What was emphasized earlier by one of the team was that the vehicles are not accessorized in any way to specifically support additional rough terrain requirements. These are the standard vehicles. So if you buy a vehicle in Kenya, you'll get this vehicle that's been able to drive through all of these countries in Africa. The second thing is that we are focusing in Crown Motors on the network across Kenya. So we make sure that customers in any town have access to the same after-sales service, parts availability and all of that, because it's all very well to show a great vehicle, to show the capabilities of that vehicle, but we must also support that vehicle after it's been purchased. So that is a big focus of Crown Motors with the Nissan Navara. There are some very exciting products coming. There's definitely upgrades all the time of the models that Nissan does, and those will come to Kenya soon. The big thing now, which is very important and very good for in Kenya, is that there is a very short delay now between new models arriving from factories and coming into Kenya. 10 years ago, it sometimes took 6 months to a year for vehicles to actually get into Kenya, where they had already been perhaps launched in Europe or South Africa. Now that delay has become very short. So when these vehicles are launched globally, when a certain country, they come to Kenya quite quickly. So we're very pleased about this.
The Daring Africa event has been an epic experience for everyone involved, according to Nissan's head of communication and public relations, Rami Moareb, who spoke to CBBT at the event. Let's listen in.
Thanks, Trevor, for the question. I think you said it right. This vehicle is built in Africa and for Africa, and it is built by Africans. I think the power of this vehicle is the localization for the African continent, and it's built on the highest severity to take over any terrain in Africa. So I think this is the right vehicle, and I think Daring Africa is a strong proof point that this is the right vehicle to take you and to explore our beautiful continent.
This vehicle is quite the toughest vehicle that we have built, and yesterday's weather and the flooding and everything is a proof point that this Navara can go through in all the terrains with the severity that it has. The legacy and the highlight here, it's basically been the heritage. This is the home of the Big Five. It's quite great. The park is spectacular and it's quite epic. And Kenya has always been, the most friendly place to have.
Daring Africa will now transition to Egypt for the final installment of this odyssey. Keep it CBBT for more details on the Daring Africa Challenge. Welcome to Kazi Big Boy Trev social media feedback segment. We give you the opportunity to speak about what you've seen on the show and how we can improve CBBT. Our first item goes to Facebook and the gentleman called Peter Marita, and he says, the G-Wagon, one of my dream machines. Well, asante sana Peter. Kazi Big Boy Trev will always give you the latest news. Now that you know the G-Wagon is electrified, it is ready for the 21st century. We go to the next gentleman called Alex Clearheart, and he says, Nissan Terra. Safety, consumption, reliability, and horsepower is up. I love it. Asante sana Alex. Keep it here on Kazi Big Boy Trev for all the latest reviews. We'll try and give you all the latest news from Nissan. And finally, there's a lady called Jessica Mautia, and she says, eagerly awaiting for the next review. Asante sana. These kind of words warm our hearts, and we try as much as possible to give you the best reviews from across the world. So if you have any questions, comments or queries, don't hesitate to write to us as seen on the social media handles below. We'll get back to you with the feedback next week. Signing out, this is Big Boy Trev. Up next, it's all the review of this particular vehicle, the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, now with the Sterling V6. Enjoy. In our ongoing series of determining the best value premium double cab in the market, we take a closer look at the all-new top-of-the-line Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6. Question is, will it manage to fight it out with the likes of the Toyota Hilux GR Sport? Let's find out.
Now this is a key fob to the latest generation Ford Ranger Wildtrak, not with the 4-cylinder, with the V6 turbo diesel, and with prices starting from roughly Kenya shillings 14 million. Do you reckon it's got all it takes to be your next pickup? We start this review by taking a look at the design phase of this particular truck, and the first thing you notice is the butchness, the boldness, the design language that Ford have employed on this brand new next generation Ranger to give this car some je ne sais quoi. Again, boldness is the name of the game. Look at that grille. It's slated, of course, as you can see here, to allow maximum air to get into the engine, and of course the blue oval badge. Again, Ford has stuck to its tradition of building high quality trucks that are pleasing to the eye and of course as capable as ever. Now the highlight of my design at the front are the C-shaped daytime running lights. Look at that. This is full LED, so you can basically traverse the beautiful country of Kenya and South Africa while using this particular matrix LED headlamps. That's just the beauty of it, and of course you do have extra fog lights, again necessary for when it gets very foggy. Design, clamshell bonnet, fantastic. You've got a raked windscreen to actually improve aero efficiency and fuel consumption, and of course allows it to slice through the wind like hot knife through butter. Now let's move to the side profile and have a look at the design of this particular truck. What I've gone for the upright design, so basically giving this car a taller stance and wider stance. Look at the front fender as well, bulging as well, as you can see here. Then you do have this plastic cladding showing this car can do some off-roading, and of course you do have this vent, and it has the letters emblazoned V6. I can tell you the power plant in that thing, I'm telling, 185 kilowatts, 600 newton meters on 10-speed automatic is just but a dream. We're gonna test out much later. Look at the side repeater lamps on the side mirrors, again je ne sais quoi. This color denotes also with the grille, so they've thought about the little things that make you love a Ford Ranger. Side steps come as standard as well, and you do have also this color coordinated roof rails. They've actually thought about the subtle things. It's all about making sure that it is appealing on the eye. And moving over to the rear third of the vehicle as well, I love the fact that they've used large windows so that a lot of light can get into the cabin. And if you move towards the back again, I love the fact that they've redesigned the whole area. So on the rear tailgate, you do have the Ranger emblazoned on the rear tailgate. You have the massive Ford logo, which actually hides the 360-degree camera. So you have one here, two on the wing mirrors, and of course one at the front to give you that presence. You can see the car properly as you traverse any type of terrain. Of course, you do have a side step and a tow bar that actually allows you to tow up to 3,500 kilograms of towing. It could be a boat, could be anything, but it just gives you that impressive power. And one thing that Ford have actually done is something called trailer sway control assist. Basically, it uses the ESP program to stabilize the trailer in case you get out of rhythm, maybe when you're overtaking and stuff like that. So they've thought about every single thing while in this particular vehicle. You open up the back boot, easy open as well. Then you have this load area which has been lined to prevent rust from getting into the load area. You have 2 power sockets, 2 of them, 120 volts, and of course a power switch that allows you to literally close up the roller shutter. And you also have practicality tow hooks to secure your luggage as you traverse without them moving in and out and making noise for the people in the cabin. Let's move inside and have a look at the cabin of the Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the design perspective of the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. It's got that butch design. Does it translate to the interior? We step inside and have a look at the interior of this particular vehicle, and the first thing you do notice is the designers have actually placed the dashboard further away from the driver and passenger to create an illusion of space. Because remember, pickups have moved from being contraptions or moving goods from point A to B. Now they are passenger cars, and they've added plenty of comfort. Now, obviously, the highlight of this particular dashboard is this massive tablet style design that's right here in front of me. So what you have, it's a 12-inch multicolor touch display that houses quite a number of things. It's the heart and soul of this Ford Ranger Wildtrak. What do I mean by that? It houses the audio system, and speaking of the audio system, it's got a Bang & Olufsen mad crazy sound. If you love bass and treble, then this is the pickup for you, because you'll enjoy beautiful music courtesy of this system, and you can actually stream music via Spotify, because remember, it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, so you can literally download an app, stream your music, and enjoy the sound as you traverse the beautiful country of Kenya and South Africa. Now, this particular setup, this audiovisual setup, basically houses also the climate control, the different settings you can literally toggle through. It's got dual zone climate control system, which allows the passenger and driver can choose different settings and still feel very comfortable while in this particular Ford Ranger Wildtrak. It's got voice control, which is standard, and the Ford Sync 4, which comes as standard in this particular system, allows you to change the different settings from navigation. You're able to toggle through the different navigation settings. But the name of the game again is practicality. They've thought about every single thing, and actually adds another layer. You're able to track this particular vehicle because it's got an eSIM that's embedded into it. So the robbers and the thugs who want to steal your car, well, say no more, because Ford now have thought about it, and they can share this information with your preferred security partner to track your vehicle. So there's so much that you can dive into it, and we're going to discuss much later when you dive deep into the world of the Ford Sync system. And as we move towards the gearbox console as well, you have this fancy looking gearbox console. It actually controls the 10-speed transmission unit that's available in this particular car. Then obviously you do have cup holders, and of course you have the different drive modes. You have the diff lock setting, so you have 2 high, which only allows 2 wheels to be driven. That is suitable for fuel economy driving on highway. On long stretches, you're able to drive the car quite easily. And then you do have 4A or 4 automatic. Basically, you allow the vehicle to manage and monitor traction, so that you have the best available traction for you in any given surface, which is very important if you're not a 4x4 expert. Again, you do have follow, which is very useful when the tough gets tougher and you need a Ford Ranger which is built tough. You're able to get out of sticky situations with follow, be it on sand, mud, on any surface that you need to modulate your traction. Not only that, you do have hill descent and hill ascent control, a standard auto hold assist as well in this particular cab, and of course you do have an electronic park brake, which comes as standard, so it helps you to drive comfortably during traffic. Now moving over, I do have a very comfortable armrest. It's got contrast stitching as well, corresponding with the seats as well. Now let's move to the steering wheel. I love the fact that it's a 3-spoke steering wheel, and of course it's got satellite buttons. On the left hand side is the controls for adaptive cruise control. So you're able to toggle through that quite easily, and of course also set your speed, limit your speed. On the right hand side, it controls all aspects of the particular multimedia system. So connecting your telephone, voice control, you're able to pick up and hang up phone calls on that toggle, and of course it gives you a menu that you can toggle through the instrument cluster. How clever is that? Ford have thought about every single thing to make this Ford Ranger the vehicle to be. Now let's talk about comfort of this particular Ford Ranger Wildtrak. You have multi-way adjustable seats for your taste and preference. So I'm 6'1", so I've set this seat to my height, so I'm very comfortable. Plus the steering wheel has got something called tilt and telescopic steering wheel to adjust it to your best comfortable driving position, so that you can command this Ford Ranger Wildtrak quite easily while traversing the beautiful country of Kenya. Now it's time for us to move to the rear seats to see whether we have enough space, and of course we're going to go back and see what this car can do, courtesy of Cars with Big Boy Trev. So we've moved to the back seat of this particular Ford Ranger Wildtrak, and I can tell you the name of the game is space. Look at me, I'm 6'1", the seat has been set to my position, and still I have enough headroom and legroom. And of course 3 people can sit here quite easily without any stress, because the transmission tunnel has been reduced lower to give you maximum space for 3 people. Remember, some pickups still have that massive transmission tunnel. Now this one is almost flat, so 3 people can sit comfortably. They do have headrests, 3 of them. So apart from preventing whiplash during an accident, they give you maximum comfort. And in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the 3-point safety belts that are given on all the 3 seats, plus Isofix anchors that allows you to fix your baby seat right at the back, because remember, the back space is where the baby seat is most, and it's been designed to protect the baby from crash. And of course, you do have 6 airbags running across. You do have a whole curtain airbag that runs across to prevent thorax and head injuries from harming the occupants at the back. So name of the game is comfort and safety. You do have airline style pockets right here. You can actually put your iPad, you have a charging port, your vents here for the AC, and of course you do have an armrest for the either side of the door. So I think Ford have nailed it with this Ford Ranger Wildtrak. But now it's time for us to get into the driving seat and feel the power of this particular V6, 185 kilowatts, 600 newton meters of torque, 10 to the 4 wheels, courtesy of a 10-speed automatic transmission. You cannot beat that. So ladies and gentlemen, today on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we are very privileged to be in the presence of the next generation Ranger Wildtrak. And this Wildtrak is very, very different. What do I mean? Because Ford have added a V6 on this particular vehicle. We'll start this review by taking a look at this particular vehicle in terms of performance. Number 1, up front you do have a sterling 3-liter V6 twin turbo producing 184 kilowatts and 600 newton meters of torque, which when you put your foot down, it pulls like a train. And of course that power is sent to the 4 wheels, courtesy of, you guessed right, a 10-speed automatic transmission. So let's talk about the chassis. Like I'd mentioned earlier, this particular vehicle is based off the T6.2 that is also found on the Everest, and also it is molded upon the successful 6.1 chassis which you saw on the previous Ranger. So definitely very capable, and is able to carry load, give you comfort, and of course give you good on and off-road performance. When you talk about the chassis, you also speak about suspension. So up front you do have double wishbones and telescopic shock absorbers to keep the front planted, and at the back you have tapered leaf springs to keep the tire on surface to give you maximum traction anywhere, anytime, any place. And that is the beauty of having such a vehicle. So Ford have thought every single thing about it. So in terms of the steering wheel, it's also very balanced, as you can see here. And remember, it can also carry close to 1.2 tons because of the suspension setup. The suspension is built for Africa, and of course is able to navigate the tough and rough terrain of this continent. Now let's talk about safety. Critical aspect in this particular segment: safety. Both active and passive safety features have been introduced and enhanced. So active features include traction control, stability control, and that is the umbrella that keeps the chassis in check, brake assist, and not forgetting the newer ones. Let's talk about blind spot assist, cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control. All come as standard in the Wildtrak to ensure that it remains the big dog in the game. But in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the 6 airbags that comes as standard, including curtain ones, and of course a 5-star rated passenger cell that ensures impact energy is dissipated away from the passenger into the chassis, the harder parts, so that you remain safe while on the road, anywhere, anytime, any place. Now, that said, it's time for me to speed up and go off-road. Feel the capability of the 4x4 system courtesy of Ford Ranger and big boy Trev. Let's go! So guys, we've just driven off the highway and now we're in the home of the Ranger Raptor, the off-road part. Now I love the fact that Ford have thought about creating an off-road monster. This thing is a beast. Why? Because Ford have really re-engineered the T6.2 chassis to be able to accommodate the Raptor, which is slightly wider in terms of wheel base and wheel track, so allowing this car to be stable. And of course you're able to fit performance shocks up front, double wishbones, and of course supported by Fox shocks 2.5. This allows for maximum wheel articulation and giving you maximum comfort off-road. So like right now I'm going through a crest and it takes it like it's just smooth, it doesn't do anything. So you have the terrain management system courtesy of Ford, which allows you to literally control the amount of traction both on and on off-road. In this case, we do have the vehicle in 4 high setting because it's a surface that is loose, and we've also put rock, sand and rock mode, which you pre-select there. So what that does is basically the sensors on the T-Flux sensors will spin and immediately counteracts to ensure that you have maximum grip and less slippage of the wheels. The most important thing is the steering wheel. During off-road driving, the steering can be a challenge, but this particular steering is quite soft and easy to use, and it doesn't have play, so you can tell what the nose is doing any given time, and you're able to see quite easily because of the minimum A pillars, which reduces blind spots, and you have 360-degree cameras to ensure that you can see wherever you're going, be it in a river or in somewhere where there is very minimal visibility in terms of the front and the side area.
Now that has been the extreme review of the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, now with the V6. But the biggest question still remains, how will it stack up against its rivals? It's time for us to do value for money. The Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6 is sold and serviced by Gaetano Kenya with a starting price of 21 million Kenya shillings, VAT inclusive. It comes with a 3-year, 100,000-kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Plus, you can rely on Gaetano's extensive network across the country to keep your Ranger Wildtrak V6 in tip-top shape and have a peace of mind.
You can